can't dance because I went to a Protestant church growing up, so. I'm Asher Smith. I promise I'm allowed to be in here. I know I look 12, but I'm old enough. I hate going out drinking with my friends because it always looks like, oh, we're out to have a good time and we have custody for the weekend. Yeah. Multitasking. I feel like custody for the weekend is something that just sounds natural coming out of my mouth because I look like someone whose parents divorced when they were 6. But they actually divorced when I was 5 because I'm a go-getter and I get started early. So I feel like that's like the best way, you get a jump start. But yeah, so my parents split when I was young, but my dad has been married a few times, and as one does, as long as it takes a few tries. When he split from his second wife, he did the thing that a lot of people do when they have a divorce, which is they feel close to their other family. And some context for this story is that, like, obviously I'm a disappointing adult, and, like, the best way to be a disappointing adult is to start young and be a disappointing child. I've never been applauded for being disappointing before. I love this. There was my sister, who's great, and then there's me, who's me. So he decides that because she had just aged out of child support and now he was only providing for himself and not his wife, that he was going to take us on a trip, which was exciting. So he gathers us all together because I've never flown before. My sister has exactly once. So like I'm here, my sister's here, and he's just like, I want to say something to both of you. That when you're in an airport, there's one thing that you can't do, and that's you can't say the word bomb. And I was like, right, got it. And he's like, I'm serious. I'm saying this to both of you, that neither of you can say bomb in an airport. And I knew exactly who he was talking to, and it wasn't both of us. And like, here's the thing, his fears were not baseless, so like I was also worried about myself. So the whole time we're in the airport, I'm just like, oh God, what if I accidentally say bomb? Have you ever worried about accidentally saying the word bomb? Like, no? Because I have. So we go through security, and my father is randomly selected, which is very unusual because his name is Stephen John Smith, so he's never been randomly selected for anything. So they select him, me and my sister are behind, they pull on the side, and they do the thing where they swab his hands. And that's when it became the best day of my life. They swab his hands, which we had never seen because we had never really been in an airport before. My sister had been once, and usually we think of pat-downs. So they do the thing, my sister just goes. And it's like I could see it happening before it happens. And I wish I could see it from her perspective. The moment she said, do they think you have a bomb or something? And I wish I could have just seen it through her eyes, like my father going at me like, this had never happened before. Like my sister had never been the disappointing child. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I know that you're awing at my sister. She was in the opera chorus, okay? I'm doing stand-up on a Tuesday night. She said bomb in an airport. It was the best day of my life. My father is an interesting father. He was born in the 60s. He's a child of the Cold War, which, you know, whole generation was. Which led to some interesting parenting styles. Like, for example, when I was a kid and I didn't like something, you know, that was pretty normal. Like, I don't like cake icing. I think it's too sweet. It's not my thing. So my dad would be like, here's a birthday cake. And I'd be like, I do not want it. And he would go, what are you, a communist? And I'd say, what's a communist? And he's like, don't you listen? I just told you, it's you. He turned out to be right. And sometimes I would sit down as a kid and be like, man, what happened in my parents' relationship? Because it happened when I was young. I was 5, you know, I never really like experienced them married. So I was like, God, what happened there? I can never imagine them being in love. And then I remember this story that my dad told me. He was in the grocery store with my sister, and she was like 2, and she's, you know, they're up at they're up by the cashier, and she's like kind of looking at all the candy because it's brightly colored. She's just kind of looking at it and touching it. And my dad, top volume in this like Walgreens, him, my mom, my sister, goes, "Sarah, I don't care what you see your mother doing, stealing is wrong." So they're not married anymore. Oh God. You know, it's funny that edibles made by a friend were brought up because I do have a friend who makes edibles. And she lives here, she lives uptown. So she advertises them on Instagram. She makes them themed for holidays. It's a whole business, it's so cute. And she used to throw house parties. And I went to one for Halloween. And I buy an edible from her. And I'm used to her experience. Her edibles are actually pretty good. I know that most people's friends' edibles are shitty, but hers are pretty good. I was used to the experience. It's like one dose, it's fine. So I buy a brownie and I eat it and I go to her and I'm like, "Where do I throw this wrapper?" And she just goes, "Oh, you ate all of it?" And I was like, "I know where this night's going and I don't want it to go there." So fast forward like an hour and a half maybe, and I'm sitting on her porch and my soul has exited my body. It is fully in orbit and I'm trying to read. Like I've just got my phone in my hand like, I couldn't remember if I was nearsighted or farsighted. And I'm trying to navigate the Uber apps. I'm like, I need to go home. And right as I am kind of starting to figure out how to read again, I hear, "Are you the stripper?" I didn't think it was that kind of party. Now I look up, and this girl's talking to a whole ass cop. And she's like, and he's like, what do you mean? Am I the what? She goes, "I'm the stripper for the party." Meanwhile, everyone's like running in the back and they're taking down like the like school like poster board style like posters selling like gram amounts, like 1 gram, $10. And I'm like, I'm about to die. This cop's right here. I am higher than I've ever been, and my hair is green, so I am so identifiable. And I'm calling the Uber, and I'm convinced that he's going to like high-speed chase this fucking Uber, and I don't know how to like politely tell them to fucking step on it because I'm about to be arrested. So what actually happens is I'm in the back seat, and I spend the whole ride kind of like this. And that's what the inside of my head felt like. But of course they didn't chase me. I ended up at home on my couch with my roommate, safe and sound, where I fell asleep with my eyes open. Thank you so much. I'm Asher
Smith. Keep it going for Asher Smith right now.